Okay, so the good people of Ghana, you're welcome to UTV once again. And this is the channel where we empower Ghanaian youth to share their thoughts on national issues and then also even make suggestions on how best leaders can go about situations to suit the good people of Ghana. So today, I have with me here in the studios someone who is well experienced and has seen through students' politics from the basic level through to the tertiary, and then now he's a big man and he's still executing his leadership qualities and then his political ideas. So today we have here in the studio Mr. David Edi Diwula, who is the former TEIN president of the KNUST. So I told you he's a big man. Also the former SRC Speaker of Parliament of KNUST. Yes, a big man. And he's also the immediate past National TEIN Coordinator of the National Democratic Congress, which is the NDC. And then again, he was also the student of...
I'm a student of history and international relations.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a diplomatic guy here. And we are going to talk about national issues, trending issues and all that. So, but I know that he's also the national coordinator. He's the immediate past national coordinator of TEIN. So you should understand where the conversation will be going sometimes. But then I bet he's going to be honest and then he's going to be a patriotic citizen here. Okay, so let's come back to the studios. Can you hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed? Tap the notification bell so you can receive notifications from the channel anytime we upload. This is UTV. Okay, so Mr. David, so what has life been like? Passing through the student leadership, through to politics and all that. How has it been like?
First of all, let me send a word of greetings to your viewers and listeners and to your platform. I mean, for what you guys are doing with this platform and using your platform to champion the voice of young people. I think it's very important that we have organizations and platforms like yours that is used to amplify the voices of those who matter in this country. So back to your question.
Okay.
The journey has been a roller coaster one. It's not been easy, but we've been in it, and by the grace of God, we've weathered the storm.
Okay. So coming back to Ghana and what's trending, recently we've heard of Mr. Sammy Gyamfi, who is the CEO of the Ghana Gold Board.
Yes.
And then he happens to be the National Communications
Officer. Yes.
Okay. So recently we saw a video where they went for the 1 week celebration of Prophet Nigel Gacy, and then Evangelist Agrada was also there. And then some money, we saw the money issue and all that. And even though Evangelist is saying it is $800, but then Ghanaians are saying Sammy Gyamfi can't carry $1 with him. So looking at the bundles, some people are saying it is $10,000, some people are saying it's $2,000. How, irrespective of what the amount is, what's your view, your general view of the whole situation?
Yes, so thank you so much for the opportunity again. It's been a topical issue, of course, and everybody knows Sammy Gyamfi is a very intelligent young man.
Undoubted.
He's my senior at KNUST. In fact, he was also once KNUST TEIN president.
Oh, really?
But before he became KNUST TEIN president, he was the communications officer for the TEIN in KNUST. He became TEIN president after KNUST. He did his national service in Kumasi, worked at KMA, became a special aide to the then KMA boss,
okay.
Mr. Bonsu. He's worked in other business enterprises. He's risen and as a young man, and let's not forget that he's somebody that a lot of people learn from.
True.
With and without, within the NDC and outside of the NDC, many people look up to him. He's a lawyer. He's a very competent lawyer. He's a communication expert, and he's a very brave young man. But listen, I have said that human beings are bound by errors. We are bound by mistakes. Let's not forget of our infallibility, our human nature, who we are. I mean, let's not make a mistake by, going for perfection or choosing perfection at the cost of perspective,
Okay.
And so, in as much as we know that the Ghanaian people want to see a change in the behavior, in the conduct, and the actions of public officers, especially those in critical government sectors, change significantly, and that that conduct must be in tune with what the people of Ghana expect, the young people of this country expect, and for which reason they handed the power and the governance of this country to our party. So it's quite understandable, and I'm not surprised. And I think that some of the criticisms are rooted on constructively.
Okay.
So there's no qualms about that at all, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. So, but based on what you said, that the criticism, I saw Honorable Frank Amakuhini and his brother throwing some jabs at some grassroots members, and then one of the grassroots members was like, "Oh, really? So today, this is what you're telling us. We shall see." The person said he's taking a screenshot, and then after the next 4 years election, he will give Honorable Frank Amakuhini a receipt. But then I also saw one from the MP for Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Susu. And then he was like, God has blessed Sammy Gyamfi, and then people are envious and all that, and it was also some way. So what do you make of some of these big men who are rather jabbing Ghanaians for accusing, or let's say backlashing or backstabbing Sammy Gyamfi? For giving, you see, the people are saying the problem is not about the money. People are saying giving the money to who the money was given to.
First of all, once I've not seen those specific comments that you're attributing to, I'm not able. But what I can say is that, because of the compoundment of the pressure and the fact that it was targeted at a young man who has worked his heart out so hard in opposition to help the party come to power, and some young people, like the names you have mentioned, may have also expressed those opinions just like any other person could express at all. I think that we must not germinate a narrative that sound like once people are actively pursuing a particular agenda or on a particular road of criticism, everybody else must follow that tangent. They are human beings. But the names you have mentioned, Frank Amakwene, for instance, is my senior brother. I know him in student politics before he got to where he is. We've worked together in TEIN, in student leadership and all that. He's a very dynamic, very dialectical, and I can tell very, very humble young man. I'm not sure that he will do things to that level, regardless of the emotions involved in the whole architecture. And social media is a very powerful weapon, and so to the extent that some also have the right to want to some extent say a few things, not in terms of defending the conduct of Sammy Gyamfi, but listen, saying that we should be careful not to kill an ant with a mallet.
Okay.
I think that is not something that is far-fetched.
Okay.
Yes, and one thing I would say is that, look, the incident, like I have told you, some of the criticisms that I've read, are rooted. In fact, I've even authored a statement on my Facebook page, and I've expressed my opinion on the characterization of the whole incident. And I give credit to those who are, constructing, fair, criticisms on what happened. And I think that the young man himself came out to issue an apology. To that extent, it means that he himself has admitted a level of indiscretion, some level of not being so careful, and so it is expected. And like I've told you, when you are not in that shoe, you wouldn't understand, and nobody would probably look at it in a way that a generous gesture would probably lead to something else. I have made the point consistently that looking at the video critically, at the point that the money or the gift was given to a woman who obviously was pestering Comrade Sammy Gyamfi for something for fuel, at that point of trying to give the woman something, first of all, Sammy Gyamfi entered inside his car. It was his privacy, but his privacy was breached. And if you look at the video carefully, it was not possible for Sammy to be counting the money and be able to tell that someone is capable of breaching his privacy and moving into his car to record a video. Because if you look at the recording itself and the one that actually captured the counting of the money, you realize that the person was being deliberate in terms of recording.
For that one,
exactly.
it's come from.
Even at that point, the receiver of the money herself didn't know until when she has received the money and showed it to the camera, then you could know. But anybody that knows the character and the persona, of who the receiver was, should not be surprised about some of the things.
Exactly. And that's where
the woman did. So and to that extent,
I get it. And that's where some Ghanaians are saying they are disappointed. Because knowing Sammy Gyamfi, Sammy Gyamfi is some guy who carries some aura. So knowing him and then seeing him acting cool with Agrada, a lot of people are confused that, is it a certain normal vibes that he just gives to people, but then on the other side he's rather a different person deep down, or he's who he is? And then if he is who he is, what happened that he's now associating with someone like Agrada?
Well, if you look at the narrative, what I can see, I've not had the benefit of listening to Comrade Sammy Gyamfi on his side of the story, right? Okay. Aside what I read from the film.
Okay.
But I've had the benefit of listening to the woman,
Agrada,
known as Agrada, on her side of the story, to the extent that she felt that she had done certain things or uttered certain words against the NDC.
Exactly.
Our presidential candidate.
Exactly.
Exactly. And the wife, to that extent, she felt she ought to offer an apology to the party, to the wife, and the Mr. President.
Okay.
And he thought that Sammy Gyamfi is somebody who would pass that apology through.
Okay.
You understand? And so once he's done that, she's done that, and asked that Sammy Gyamfi give her something, I do not. From my perspective, I'm thinking that we've given too much attention to this matter. And we are exaggerating, the contest and trying to kind of maybe squeeze oil out of sun, and that I think that is quite unfortunate. Regardless of the fact that I still think there were some indiscretion, there were some aspect of it that I thought that he would have done it in a better way if he was probably aware of the situation, and the environment, of course. And so, to that extent, I don't have any problem. And to the extent that he's also a public officer, I do not have a problem with anybody disagree with me, or even going the extreme.
Yeah, because I was going to tell you that I beg to differ on the fact that we are not squeezing. You said we are squeezing what?
Squeezing oil out of sun.
You understand? If you say that, I think you're not being fair. You're not being fair to Ghanaians, because you see one of the major problems in this whole brouhaha is that this is a country that is struggling to manage the dollar, to equalize our cedi to the dollar. You get it? So, and then we've been preaching that, okay, let's limit the use of dollars in our country or foreign currencies in our country. And then we see a state official who is in charge of the gold we have in Ghana here, rather doing business or gifting someone dollars, which makes it look like, oh, okay, then the government or the people in authority who are saying we shouldn't use the dollars are the ones rather who are playing around with the dollars. You get it? So it's a big deal. I feel like for that one, it's a big deal. We can, once he's a state official, we can hold him accountable for that. But then, however, let's come to his appointment. We recall that when Honorable Sisi Adapa reported that her worker had stolen her dollars and all that, Honorable Sammy Gyamfi or Mr. Sammy Gyamfi came on radio, press conference upon press conference, jabbing this woman left and right and all that. This woman had to actually resign. Do you think, just as some other Ghanaians are calling on Sammy Gyamfi to resign, do you think he should resign?
First of all, before I address that, let me go back to the point the where you said he's the CEO of Good Board, and to that extent you think that some of the things you have said, like I've stated to you, I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with my view. the view of those even going the stream.
Okay.
Or what Sammy Gyamfi has put across at all. And I've also indicated to you that I do not, in my view, also agree entirely with even some of the conversation that I have heard. For instance, I do not think that Agrada is a needy person.
True.
That foundation must be made. I do not think so.
Okay.
But I've told you that one of the foundational attributes of public servants is that when you have admitted that you could have done something better, you offer an apology while it is hot.
Okay.
You understand? And I think he has done that, and he has met the meter and the metric of exercising humility when you have fumbled or when you think that you could have done something better.
Okay.
On that premise,
you think we should?
I think that is something that
okay. For that one,
let me come back to you saying the PAR should resign. I think that these are unrelated matters. I think the distance between this unrelated comparison is like from Ghana here to China. I mean, these are two completely matters. Yes, you understand. First of all, in the case of Cecilia Dapa, there was an allegation of criminality and corruption that were germinated. In the case of Sammy Gyamfi, there was no allegation of criminality that was being germinated. Nobody complained that their money is lost. The quantum of the money were not questionable. These were just a few dollars that were, anybody could give to anybody.
Yeah, but we don't know the amount.
Exactly. But I'm saying that even though we don't know the amount, we cannot believe anything different from the receiver, what the receiver of the amount told us.
Yes.
He told us that she received 800 Ghana cedis.
That's true. But Ghanaians are also saying,
until you have something,
Ghanaians are also saying they've seen dollars before. And they can tell that amount wasn't $800.
Those Ghanaians are unable to tell us the amount they did.
Yeah, they are saying they think if it is a bundle of $100, they are saying it could be $10,000.
It could be.
It could be 10,000. Yes, if it's because they are saying if it is a bundle from the way he was holding it, it could be more.
First of all, it is not a bundle.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes. That is not a bundle of money.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And secondly, those who do not believe that it is $800 are unable to give us a different price.
Okay.
So for now, we would have to believe what we are told, especially when the one receiving it are told.
But at first, it was when it started circulating, they were saying it was $2,000.
In any case, even if it is $2,000, the point I'm making is that there's no establishment of criminality or suspicion around the money.
Okay.
The fundamental issue people have with that incident is the fact that the money was being showcased publicly. That's number one. Number two, the officer in question is a public servant.
Exactly.
That's number two.
Yes.
Number three, that is the sentiments that comes from the NDC grassroots.
Exactly.
The money is given to a personality
who has been blasting
on our cause.
Exactly.
Against our cause.
Exactly.
It was against President Mahama ever becoming president of the Republic of Ghana.
Yes.
And for that matter, he, Sammy Gyamfi, ever becoming a CEO of Cocoa Board.
Yes. Because
the only reason why he's there is because NDC is in power.
Exactly.
But I've established earlier on that, look, in our society, we all make mistakes.
True.
We are given room to apologize and make amends. Both Sammy Gyamfi and Agrada established the point that Agrada used the platform of the occasion to reach out to Sammy Gyamfi, admitting the wrong she has done in the past.
Okay.
And offering an apology and believing that apology will get to where she believes they must get to. So to that extent, I think there's nothing wrong with that at all.
So you don't think he should resign?
So I think that the resignation is, and first of all, for you to even call for him to resign, then it means that the action might have gone to certain extreme, that the punishment, because every sin, or inaction comes with a certain level of punishment that must be meted out. If it is in relation to the code of conduct that John Dramani Mahama put out, the argument is that, look, the pertinence and the compunction, as exhibited by Sammy Gyamfi, is enough. Caution. It is enough excuse that he has suffered some bit of humility and a retraction or contrition in terms of the kind of behavior he's portrayed in public. And don't forget that when President John Dramani Mahama launched the Code of Conduct, one of the things he said was that that the punishment, in other words, what one may suffer in breaching the conduct, the code of conduct, depending on which section it is, ranging from offering a public apology, which Sammy Gyamfi has done, being cautioned, which has been done, he's been cautioned by the chief of staff, and to that extent, the presidency doesn't believe that there might be any punishment that goes beyond that. And I share in that view.
You share in that view. Okay, so now are we establishing the fact that now, let's say a new government is in power, and then someone does something wrong, or something which goes contrary to the actions or the permitted activities or duties of a state officer. If the person comes to render an apology, should we also say that, okay, the person has rendered an apology, so we should allow the person continue and then keep up with what he's doing?
So first of all, that's what I said. It depends on what the comment. If the conduct of the public officer in court directly breaches a certain conduct, if there's criminality that has been established, if there's conflict of interest situation that has been established, the punishment differs.
Okay.
So in this matter, I think that he suffered the punishment that the public officer who has committed a minor act of indiscretion ought to suffer.
Okay.
And that is rendering an apology, being cautioned, and and the rest.
But on that note, he's on record to have said that if a state officer or a public officer is caught with an amount of money, the person should go and answer questions to prove where the money is coming from and where he had that money. So don't you think he should also go through that same process to prove where he had that money from? Because people are also saying that he was caught on camera that day. The car he was using is a 2025 Range Rover, which price or cost is around $350,000. And for someone who is just in office for 120 days, having this car, luxurious car he's using, don't you think, or don't you agree with those who are saying that, yes, just as he is on record to have said that you should submit yourself if you are caught with certain amount of money without or to prove that, oh, this money is your hard-earned money. Do you think you should also go through the same process?
First of all, I haven't actually watched that video you are alluding to, that Sammy.
Oh, the same car he was sitting inside.
Those the same car he was.
Yeah, he was sitting inside giving a grad the money.
No, you're talking about, you're saying that Sammy Gyamfi made a comment in the past.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that video.
Okay.
What I can tell you is that probably if I had the opportunity to listen to the video, where maybe I am so sure he was building a docket of argument.
Okay.
It was in contest and landed in that at that point. So if I don't see the video and listen to the entire conversation, I will not be able to comment.
I understand.
What I can tell you is that there's a world of difference. There's a huge dichotomy between these two scenarios. They, at no point, not even at the widest stretch or the testosterone stretch of the imagination, can anyone arrive at a conclusion that we should compare a mere situation of indiscretion to an issue that borders on alleged established criminality and gross misconduct. These are two different things altogether.
But Honorable
that invited national security to make investigations on her, establish more, unravel more facts about a lot of monies that were being kept. Don't forget, that is why I was talking about the amount of the money. You have some money in your pocket right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If we make this argument, it means that even if you remove one seed, I'll start asking you, how did you make the one seed? We'll get to the point where even if I remove 50 Ghana cedis, to buy something by the roadside.
Maybe if you're not a state official,
you ask me, how did I make the money?
If you're not a state official, a public officer, nobody will ask.
Even if I were.
But you, for instance, once you were.
Even if I were, we've seen videos of Dr. Baumia dozing out money when he was in operation at funeral grounds.
Oh yeah.
At function, they were giving bundles of money.
Oh,
if you ask him, he's a popular. If you ask him, how did he make
he's the president, so and that money wasn't any amount of money. And it was in cedis.
It
was in cedis.
Forget about the denomination. First of all, I want to establish that whether the issue is justified or not, the victim here, Comrade Sammy Gyamfi, admitted some level of indiscretion and offered an unqualified apology to that extent. Case closed.
So we should.
Once we are unable to establish any form of criminality or gross misconduct, one, two, once his larger mandate
okay, PMMC, have not complained that any monies are lost. 3, once his mandate now as MD for Gold Board, have not issued any statement questioning where he got the money or asking, establishing some relation between some money that are missing with what he's having. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing we have to be discussing.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me in the studios.
You're welcome.
It was nice having you, and we enjoyed you. I think maybe you have to bring you one of the members of the opposition party one of these days. And also, we'd like to have you again on the channel to speak to students in leadership, students in politics, and all. You share your experience, how you started, and how you're able to navigate to grow and all that with you. Yeah. So,
thank you.
So, the good people of Ghana, the good youth of Ghana as well. This is Youth TV once again, empowering and projecting the youth, the good youth of Ghana. So, we brought to you live from the studios of Space. Space is a place, a co-working office where you can book the place for your board meetings, your personal studies, your personal meetings. When you come, we give you a cup of coffee, tea, Milo. See, just choose the one you want. We bring it to you. You have water, you have free Wi-Fi as well. And the place is very comfortable. Every room has AC in it. So you understand, you have that freedom, that relaxed mood to actually do whatever you want to do. So this was Mr. David we had in the studios, the former Speaker of Parliament for KNUST, the former TEIN President for KNUST, the immediate past National Coordinator of TEIN as well. And he has given you all the analysis on what is happening and what is trending in Ghana on Mr. Sammy Gyamfi's issue. Hope to see you next time. Kindly subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Tap the notification bell to receive notification from the channel anytime we upload. Please, do you have anything to say?
I want to say a very big thank you to your listeners and your viewers, and to young people out there, and to people who are aiming to live and have a very decent society and leadership that put the concerns of young people first. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. We are out.